Spurs Aldridge, Leonard deliver against Bulls on Christmas Day. Spurs coach Greg Popovich all season has harped on his team's inability to put together 48 straight minutes of quality basketball. "We're not a very consistent team and we haven't learned as a group that the game is 48 minutes, Popovich said on December 8 following a 95-91 loss to the Bulls. Perhaps no game this season better encapsulated the Spurs' maddening tendency to vacillate between dominant and disengaged than Sunday's 119-100 win over those same Bulls at the AT&T Center. The Spurs, 25-6, opened the game by hitting their first 8 shots. They did not miss until the 6:27 mark of the first quarter. LaMarcus Aldridge, who had shot under 50% in 6 of his last 10 games entering Sunday's contest, put on a Christmas Day shooting clinic. He hit his first 11 shots before finally airballing a jumper with 2:18 remaining in the second quarter. "I was just catching and shooting," Aldridge said. "Coach has been telling me to try and find my shot more." Kawhi Leonard was nearly as dominant, going for 16 points on 5 of 8 in the first half. The duo sparked the Spurs as they jumped to a 30-10 lead over the Bulls, 14-16, 8 minutes into the contest. One problem: 40 minutes remained. Playing their third game in 4 days following a West Coast road trip, the Spurs got caught in some sort of Yuletide hangover. "You try to fight it," Popovich said of the arduous schedule. "It's really the key to having a good seed at the end of the year. To make as sure as you can that you have beaten the teams you are supposed to beat. So all of us are adamant about trying to keep a standard so they don't let down against a team they are supposed to beat. If you maintain a disciplined standard, it works out better." It was undisciplined basketball that allowed the Bulls to charge back into the game. Led mostly by an energetic and aggressive bench unit, Chicago outscored the Spurs 40-25 over the remainder of the half. The Bulls turned 9 first-half turnovers into 13 points. The visitors claimed their first lead of the game on a Jimmy Butler three-pointer with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The Silver and Black Cavalry arrived in the form of Dwayne Dedmon, Manu Ginobili, David Lee, and Patty Mills, who scored all 16 points for the Spurs during a 16-3-quarter closing run. The Spurs starters took that comfortable cushion and turned it into a rout. Aldridge finished with a season-high 33 points on 15 of 20 and added 9 rebounds. Leonard scored 25 and hauled in 10 rebounds for his 6th double-double. Leonard also thrived in his usual duty as defensive stopper, sticking with Butler for most of the game. The Bulls' leading scorer on the season, Butler went for 19 points on 19 shots and was just 1 of 9 when defended by Leonard. Dwayne Wade, a nemesis of the Spurs during his heyday in Miami, led the Bulls with 24 points and 6 assists. It was not the complete, end-to-end performance Popovich may always envision for his team, but that makes what the Spurs have been able to accomplish all the scarier for the rest of the NBA. "We're not consistent yet," Aldridge said, "but I think anything is possible for his team." Bulls vs Spurs, NBA Christmas 2016 final score: LaMarcus Aldridge near perfect in Spurs 119-100 win over Chicago. The Christmas Day basketball schedule can be likened to a restaurant menu, and the Cleveland Cavaliers Golden State Warriors NBA Finals rematch was the main course. But that doesn't devalue the menu's other offerings, which included a fun-to-watch Spurs-Bulls evening matchup. San Antonio built a 26-8 first-quarter lead and barely looked back until Chicago tied the game in the third quarter. But like any Greg Popovich-coached team, the Spurs got back to basics and dimed themselves out of a late-game Bulls comeback attempt. The Spurs dished out 30 assists and built another double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, keeping Chicago at bay for a 119-100 home victory to notch their 25th win of the season. LaMarcus Aldridge made his first 11 field goal attempts and finished 15 for 20 from the field for 33 points and 9 rebounds. "I was just catching and shooting," Aldridge said on the TV broadcast after the game. "Coach was telling me to try to find my shot more." Kawhi Leonard stuffed the stat sheets for a holiday double-double, 25 points, 7 for 14 shooting, 10 rebounds, and 3 steals, and Pau Gasol finished with 12 points and 7 rebounds against his former Chicago squad. The Bulls couldn't get much going. Robin Lopez played only 19 minutes, but the Bulls were outscored by 26 with him on the floor. Jimmy Butler scored 19 points on 19 shot attempts, and Dwyane Wade was the only bright spot, leading Chicago with 24 points and 6 assists. Anytime your co-star nails his first 11 shots from the field, the team is going to be in a good place. Aldridge scored San Antonio's first 8 points and powered his Spurs to an early big lead over. The Spurs won, but they didn't get all the highlights. Mirotic racked up 3 steals, including one that led to a disrespectful transition three-pointer from way behind the arc. He finished with just 11 points off the bench, but his 3 made three-pointers certainly earned him a few nods for the three-point shootout during NBA All-Star Weekend. Dedmon has bounced around the league for quite a bit. But just like the Warriors have JaVale McGee performing at optimal levels, the Spurs have stumbled on quite a diamond. San Antonio signed Dedmon to a 2-year deal, and in the blink of an eye, they've got the raw athletic big man rolling hard and catching lobs like he did against Chicago. R.C. Buford and Popovich have done it again, folks. Rondo scored just 6 points on 3 for 7 shooting and 2 assists in 30 minutes on the floor. But one of Rondo's field goals came by way of a beautiful running hook over Aldridge's outstretched arm.